Hi everyone. So for this discussion post, I chose to discuss um, the multiple victims of Darren Sharper, who is a former New Orleans Saints player. And this is an extensive case. There are a lot of victims. So I'm going to try to give a short synopsis and try to fit this into the 3 minutes. It may go over. So to begin, two women woke up in Sharper's condo in Miami, and one woke up with a man attempting to remove her clothing and sexually assault her. And they both felt that they had been drugged and that they passed out at his home. They went to the hospital for SANE examinations, and after that point, Sharper went on to rape numerous other women around the country. And just to give a rundown of his convictions and sentencing for a total of 9 victims nationwide. Charges were brought in California, Louisiana, Arizona, and Nevada. And he was also brought up on federal charges in Louisiana. A federal grand jury in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Louisiana returned an indictment for conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance and distribution of a controlled substance. So that was part of what these women claimed occurred during their rapes. The Arizona judge sentenced him immediately to 9 years in prison with no chance for early release. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison in Los Angeles, and his plea deal allows him to serve half time minus time already served. As a non-violent criminal, he might also be eligible for parole, since raping an intoxicated person is a non-violent crime in the state of California, at least at the time of his of this crime, and that I feel is another failure of the system. On March 24th, 2015, he pled guilty to a single count of attempted sexual assault on 2 women in Las Vegas. He agreed to serve 3 to 8 years for that crime. On May 29th, 2015, he pled guilty in a federal court to conspiracy to distribute multiple intoxicating drugs with intent to commit rape, and 2 counts of distributing these substances with intent to commit rape. He accepted a 9-year sentence in a plea deal for all charges against him. However, on February 18th, 2016, the judge in that case rejected the deal, saying the court cannot accept this plea agreement, and noted that a federal pre-sentence report called for a range of 15 to 20 years. So on March 22nd, 2016, she approved a new deal under which the proposed length of imprisonment fits the above range. So that to me is a supportive system for sexual assault victims. So that's one good outcome. I don't really want to call it a good outcome, but at least that judge was trying to have the sentence fit the crime. On August 18th, 2016, he was also sentenced to 220 months, which is 18 years and 4 months of incarceration, followed by 3 years of supervised release and a $20,000 fine. The following week, he was sentenced by a Louisiana state judge to 20 years in prison, stemming from 3 counts of rape. So for the second part, what law enforcement or prosecutors could have done to prevent this, were mistakes made. So yes. Sorry. So in the Miami case, an officer on the case explained that he had made no note of having interviewed Sharper. He did not search or even visit Sharper's condo where the alleged crime took place, nor did he put the SANE examination performed at the hospital into evidence or request to get it tested. 5 days after the report, the officer closed the case at the advice of his superiors, and it sat at the Miami Beach Police Department as, quote, a miscellaneous incident. So it was not even marked as a potential sexual assault. A detective of the Miami Beach Police Department wrote in an email to ProPublica, quote, "The women involved never said that they were sexually assaulted, nor was there any physical evidence. The officers consulted with a detective, and based on the lack of evidence of a crime, they all concluded that no further action could be taken by the department," end quote. So even though they went to the hospital, they got seen examinations, that they felt they had been drugged and woke up with somebody trying to take their clothing off and potentially sexually assault them, for some reason the police department did not feel that was enough to even investigate a potential sexual assault. And therefore, Sharper was not ever brought up on charges in Miami, and he was not. He did not take responsibility for anything that happened, and went on to sexually assault multiple other women. So identify strategies that could have been implemented to prevent the crime. So sexual assault cases need to be taken more seriously by law enforcement, the criminal legal system, and society in general. No one deserves to be raped. It doesn't matter what has happened to them. If they are a criminal themselves, it does not matter. Even if a victim puts themselves in a risky situation, no one goes into those situations anticipating sexual assault. The blame needs to be placed on the offender and the system that enables that behavior. More education needs to be implemented in law enforcement agencies regarding sensitivity to these types of cases. There is extensive research about how trauma affects victims. Law enforcement and the legal system need to be trained in what trauma does, how victims are affected, and why they need to be believed. Thank you.